Hello, hello, everybody. All right. Hello, hello, everyone. We are getting settled. So sorry about the mistake. We were just making sure that all of the virtual things are up and running. So thank you for your patience. Thank you for your time. And thank you for being here with us today. We have Dr. Anisa backstage, and we are going to be getting started because I know that most of you guys have already been waiting. But what I would love to do is let us know who's here. If you can put in the chat, what's your name and where you're coming from, because we have people coming from all over the place. So whether it's Ohio, Miami, New Orleans, we want to know where you're coming from. So I am going to introduce, hello fam, it's Marty. Hey, I'm going to be introducing Dr. Anisa Shomo to the stage just so that way you can see her beautiful face. Yes, there she goes. Whoop, whoop.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, awesome. And you just made the mistake that everybody makes. Anisa, not Anika.
I'm so sorry.
I know our names are so similar. People say them all. People do that all the time. So.
Yeah, and for those of you who weren't part of our part 1 webinar, we had Dr. Anika here, and today we're having Dr. Anisa. So I apologize, my bad.
It's okay. I don't know how we both ended up in the same space with names one letter apart.
We appreciate and the fact that you guys are both doing so much good work. I think that's another thing too.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So I see we got some people from New Orleans. We got people from Atlanta. Woo woo. All right. So let's actually get started because, like I said, I know people have been waiting. So, yeah, I want to just share my screen. Let me know once you guys can see it. Right? Good. Okay. So just a little highlight. I know I mentioned that we just had our first webinar, and that's because this is a 3-part webinar series. And the reason why we're doing this is because we wanted to showcase what we do here at AHDH. For many of you, this might be your very first introduction to us as an organization. And just so you know, AHDH does stand for the Association Haïtienne de Développement Humain. So that's why we say AHDH. It's a very long title. But at the end of the day, that translates into the Haitian Association for Human Development. So we do a lot of different things. It's not just medical services. We also have optometry services, education services. And we decided that we wanted to give each service its highlighted time. So if you missed the first one, it was all about our eye clinic and the optometry services that we provide in Haiti. Today, we're going to be focusing on our medical experiences and the services we provide. I'm excited to just share with you whether it's telemedicine, whether it's hernia removals, whether it's OBGYN. There's a lot of things that we do. And then not next week, I apologize. And then on Thursday, we are going to finish out the series with I'm going to show you. Yes. And then on Thursday, we're going to be finishing out the series with Dr. Evelyn McCarthy. She is the education director for our organization. And I just wanted to share this going forward because last time I shared it at the end, but I just want to share up front that another reason why we really wanted to do these webinars is because today is Giving Tuesday. Whoop, whoop. And we have had an amazing donor that has offered to match every donation up to $50,000 this month. So that is huge. Not only that, but because it's Giving Tuesday, we also are in different contests with our fundraising provider to get extra funding there. So it's just a very exciting time for the organization, and we're excited to share this with you. All righty. So let's see. How's the chat looking? We've got people in. Yes, yes. Thank you for everybody who's here. We appreciate you guys. And let's get started. All right. Now, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Tiffany Roldan Howell, and I am the CEO and founder of Affirm Your Abundance. And most recently, I was elected the vice president of AHDH. So, very, very excited, very honored, and humbled to be a part of such an incredible organization. You're going to hear me say that a lot because you're going to realize at the end of this just why when you're introduced to this organization you don't want to leave. So that is our plan for today. And then for our agenda we also have it's going to be a quick hello from us. I'm going to show a quick little video just highlighting what we've done over the past 37 years here at AHDH. That's another huge thing. This is actually our birthday month. So we turned 37 this year, and we think it's time that we kind of like open the doors more and gain some more people like you, more like-minded people who are genuine about helping people in Haiti and creating a sustainable Haiti, an autonomous Haiti. So that's what we do here at AHDH. I'm going to be sharing a quick video on that. And then I will introduce you formally to Dr. Shomo, and we'll talk about all the things that she's been doing and the great work that her and her team have been putting into there. And then after that, we're going to open the floor for some questions. That way, this is a dialogue. We want you to be engaged. We want you to get your questions asked and answered because we want you to be a part of this. At the end of this webinar, I want you to say like, hey, not only do I know a good organization that's doing amazing things in Haiti, but I'm also volunteering to be a part of it. And volunteering doesn't only mean doesn't have to be like going on a mission trip. It doesn't have to be only monetary. There's so many things that we can use help with, and volunteers support us all the way, 100% of the way. I think it's also important to note that here at AHDH, 100% of all donations have gone directly to the people. So when you see me here, when you see Dr. Shomo here, this is all volunteering our time and our efforts and our resources to make sure this organization continues for another 37 years. Okay. So yeah, I invite you to start thinking what questions you want to ask, what things you wanted to know more about our organization, because at the end, I want to make sure that those questions get answered. All right. So without further ado, let me introduce you to AHDH.
Haiti, a beautiful country filled with culture and spirit, love and vibrancy. The stuff life's made of. But don't take my word for it. See for yourself. For too long, statistics have stigmatized the first independent Black republic. In the Western Hemisphere, Haiti still has the lowest income per capita, the highest illiteracy rate, the highest infant mortality, and nearly 60% of the population has no access to health care and a life expectancy of 48 years. Haiti deserves better. And with your help, Haiti can have better. We are AHDH, a nonprofit founded in 1986 by a group of committed Haitians living in New Orleans, Louisiana, in order to promote the betterment of the Haitian people through humanitarian programs that focus on healthcare and development in both Haiti and Haitian communities in Louisiana. Our founders have pulled their professional, intellectual, and economic resources towards a shared love for Haiti. Here's what we've achieved so far.
It's not going to be done.
If you don't do it, it won't be done. Okay. Now, that was actually our founder, Dr. Charles Renee, and I can't wait to have him on a webinar one day, but baby steps. So that was our founder, and so that was just a highlight reel pretty much of what we do here at AHDH, what we've been doing for the past 37 years, and what we will continue to do. So give me 1 second. There are just a few more things that I wanted to share with you because I know there were some statistics in that video if you paid attention. And these are some other statistics that I think are very important to what we are doing today and or the conversation that we're having today is better said. Okay, so the first thing I think that you should know is that the current average age of the Haitian population right now is 23 and a half years old. And that's very young. Think about that. And so when you talk about people's life expectancy being so early, like in the 40s, the 50s, and the 60s, that means that right now the current population is already halfway of their life. And that's something that we here are trying to um, not avoid, but we're trying to extend, extend not only the length of your life, but also the quality of your life. And we feel that, education and access and having these resources where you'll have someone who cares about you, who can give you the knowledge and the resources that you need to understand how you can be better in your health. Okay, truthfully, like they said, 60% of people don't even have access to medical care. And we're going to be talking more about that for sure. But these are just some numbers I wanted you to see. The top causes of death for males and females. And another thing is, we're not trying to, I am very intentional on being a prideful, I think that's the word I want to use. Like, we're coming from a place of Haitian pride, okay? It's because a lot of these organizations, when they talk about Haiti, they want to just tell you all the negative things that come with it. And that's not what we're doing here today. We're going to show you all the good things that can come from it too. And all the things that we are directly impacting when it comes to these causes of death, because everything that we do is with this in mind: heart disease, strokes, respiratory infections, neonatal conditions, violence, stroke, diabetes. These are all things that with our services, we are doing our part to reduce those rates so that way people can have a better quality of life overall. So we are doing that with the help of our amazing Dr. Anisa Shomo. So I would like to just introduce you to her. Okay, and as a little quick bio, just to give you a little heads up of who she is currently serves as the Director of Family Medicine Scholars and is the Assistant Professor of Medicine at the University of Cincinnati.
Associate. I'm associate professor.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Associate Professor. Okay. Thank you for that. The Associate Professor of Medicine for the University of Cincinnati, and she received her medical degree from Ohio State University College of Medicine. She trained in family medicine residency and geriatric fellowship at the University of Cincinnati, the Christ Hospital. And since then, she has been working in school-based health, nursing home facilities, global health, and underserved clinics internationally during various points of her career. So under her moniker of Dr. Shomo Knows, she discusses different health topics, social justice, healthy coping, and she recently even wrote a book on trauma and healing called Health is Love, and has been volunteering with us since 2013. I would like everybody to please give a warm, warm welcome to Dr. Anisa Shomo. Woohoo! That's me giving you the
No, thank you for that. I'm sure that was probably just a little bit older of a bio because I've been associate professor. I don't know. I feel like maybe for just a couple of years. So.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, girl, I got that off the internet. So.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much for organizing this, Tiffany. It's amazing for us to be able to share what we do, because I think that's one of the biggest things. That's one of the big problems that a lot of people who are doing the work have, is that you just get so focused on doing the work that you don't take a moment to share what you're doing. And that you don't have the opportunity to partner with people who would be interested in partnering with you if you don't share your work. So thank you for helping us do that.
But honestly, it's really when I first found out everything that you guys do. I was like, wait a minute, what's like You guys do this. You guys do this. You guys do this. How come no one's talking about that? You know?
Yeah.
So how do I mute that? But anyway, the point is that is what I think is the most important thing, because you have to recognize that the work you're doing is so important that if you just have your head down, and I feel like this is actually what's happened in our organization, because we've just had our head down and we've just been working, it's almost like kept us from growing to the capacity that we could. And that's why I'm like, wait, if we have more people, we have all these people that are watching the webinar now. Thank you for being here. I know it's the middle of the day, so I appreciate it. But you have these people who are genuinely wanting to help. And I know a lot of people in my generation, in our generation, they're like, well, I want to help Haiti. I just don't know how. And I'm like, ha, we found a way. We got a way. So now it's our opportunity to share with people the work that we're doing.
Yeah. No, that's just how we are as doctors. We just, you know, get in there, do that work. And then that's why we have marketing departments. They're like, oh, can you come take these pictures? And you're like, oh, okay, let's go take pictures. So thank you for helping us with that, because that's just kind of how we exist in our regular world.
Well, let's get right into it, right? Because I know people are really interested in this conversation. And so I did mention that you've been with us for since 2013, right? So tell me a little bit, because I feel like that's super impressive, and I think that shows the volumes of your dedication. So what was it that made, or do you recall your first introduction to AHDH?
Right. So the story kind of goes back to 2010. I was in medical school. I was in my last year of medical school when the earthquake in 2010 happened in Haiti. And in medical school, one of my good friends, Ramona Vanel, who actually has been to Haiti with me now, she is Haitian. And so I remember just how distraught she was when it was happening. And it was, she was interested in trying to go, but we didn't have any skills or any money as fourth year medical students. And so we kind of, I was going to the program where I work now, where I trained, has an interest in global health. And so I had already matched there. I was on my way there. And I said, well, in my third year of residency, they actually give us money to go and, find a global health opportunity and get that experience. So I can't remember how much money they gave us, maybe like $3,000. And so I was like, well, Haiti would be a great place to spend that $3,000, because one of my mentors, he goes to Tanzania, and it's very expensive to go to Tanzania. I think it's like $4,000 or $5,000 to go. So I was like, well, it's in the budget. But what happened was we were supposed to go in 2013. And Hurricane Sandy happened in New York, which is where my friend Ramona is from. And so we had opportunity lined up, but we weren't able to go because she was dealing with relocating and everything. Her apartment got flooded, Superstorm Sandy. And so I needed somewhere to go. And I just, actually, I don't know if you know the Belazaires, but Rita Belazaire, she trained at University of Cincinnati as well. And so I knew a friend who knew a friend, and they connected us, and she, told me about AHDH. And so that's how I found out about AHDH back in 2013.
You see the power of networking. It's a friend that told a friend that told a friend. And that's the beauty. That's why we're doing this, because you never know who, even if you think, what do I have to offer? Share. Just sharing and saying like, hey, this is an organization that's actually doing good work. That right there can do wonders for any nonprofit, not just us. But yeah, so you found out, friend of a friend told you, and then you ended up doing your first mission in 2013?
Yeah, so I did my first mission when I was in residency, when they gave me the $3,000 to go. And then the biggest thing that struck me, so at that point, I had worked, so our residency is unique in that you can have a global health experience every year of residency. So I had been to Honduras 2 times. Our residency at that time was going to Honduras like once a quarter. And so I had been twice. And so by the time I had got to Haiti, I had some experience already with how things could be organized, as far as like delivering chronic care in a place, because that's what we do as family doctors. We deliver chronic care. Disease management is our main thing that we do now. Now that people are living longer, we are the people who do a lot of that chronic care because, if you have an urgent issue, you can go to your primary care doctor, but you can also go to urgent cares, right? But urgent cares, they don't generally do chronic care. So that's kind of our specialized thing that we do in the America's healthcare place. And so I had learned some models there. And so immediately when I came to Haiti, I was just kind of like, I could tell that they need a lot more help than at that time Honduras did, because they needed somebody to organize it in the way that Honduras was organized at that point, which was basically doing a lot of community medicine, which is what I also do in Cincinnati. And so I saw the potential in being able to organize, the chronic care model in Haiti, and I saw that there was a big need for it.
Mm-hmm. So that was 2013. And how many times have you gone since?
So I didn't go the past couple of years, but I've been 10 times as far as I can count. Yes. Yes.
1 for every year. Look, 10 times a decade that you've been with us.
Yeah, one year I went twice and I brought my niece. One time I went in the summer because they kept telling me every time I would go in the winter, they'd be like, "You're too young for all of us. We're like, we don't have this kind of energy that you have. We're going to bed. You need to come in the summer when the young people come." So one summer I did come in the summer. One time I did go in the summer with my niece, and we had a lot of fun.
Was it different? Was there more energy in the summer?
It completely was. I was there with the Xavier pharmacy students, and we were making songs. We it was really fun. So they were correct.
There we go. Now you know. If you want something a little bit more laid back, you're gonna do it in the winter. If y'all want to come turn up, come to the summer.
Exactly.
We're gonna be working either way, but keep that in mind.
Yeah, we definitely have a lot of fun either way. So that's part of why I enjoy it too, because it becomes, it's like a family. Everybody, I've been going for 10 years, but for the past 10 years, it's been a lot of the same faces for 10 years. And so that's what makes it unique as well. You truly join the family,
Yeah. You know what? Speaking of which, let's actually I'm going to share my screen again. So that way we can go over some pictures that you sent over. Can everybody see the screen? Oh, look, they love cola champagne. Oh, girl, cola.
We made a song about fruit champagne that summer.
What was about? Look, cola will change your life. The champagne will change your life.
Oh, goodness.
Okay, so you guys can see my screen. If you can just because these are some moments of impact that you shared, and I love them so much. I would love if you can just kind of give us an overview of what these pictures mean to you when you look back at them after your 10 years of, your 10 years and your 10 missions.
Great. So the biggest thing for me is what I love, what drew me into family medicine in the first place is, as somebody who was interested in global health, is that you can do anything. And as far as when you go into a primary care setting in another country, you're trained well to kind of step into a lot of different positions. And I've also brought residents. And so this, the first picture is Dr. Angie and I. So she was one of the first people who came with me to Haiti, and she's been to Haiti almost as many times as I have. But I brought other residents with me as well. And I brought my classmates from medical school as well. So I brought quite a few people to Haiti with me. So, but in these pictures, I'm doing different things. So in the next picture, next to with Dr. Renee, I'm doing women's health. In the picture with me and the babies, I'm doing peds. And also with Dr. Nicole, I've done peds as well. And then I've done internal medicine. The picture with me and the professor. And I've also helped with C-sections. So I really, as a family doctor, that's one of the things that drew me to it is kind of I have kind of like an ADD brain. And so you get to do a lot of different things and you're trained to do a lot of different things. And it's really amazing to be able to take that skill set to another country and be able to just kind of step into whatever is needed.
Absolutely. And you know what I think is important is I didn't mention it in this webinar, but in our first webinar, we were talking about the importance of specialty physicians, right? Because there just isn't that many. If you have a doctor, most doctors are probably doing what you're doing, right? They're kind of they're in family medicine and they're going and they're helping in any capacity that they can. I want to just kind of stress that in Haiti, it's not the way it is here in the States. It's very, whatever we can do, we will do, So yeah, so when you see the fact that she was helping in peds, the fact that she was helping in OBGYN, those are special services that if we weren't able to provide, there wouldn't be anywhere else for them to go besides, at least I believe it's like what, over an hour, or where's the closest hospital?
To Jacmel, yeah, about an hour away. And it probably would cost more money than how much they pay a small fee to be seen by us, but it's not as much as it would be to go to Jacmel. So, and and then of course you have to pay to travel as well, and the transportation is a big issue for people. So it's not always even the money; it's more how you're going to get there, the ability to the logistics of it.
Right. Absolutely. A lot of people, first of all, they're coming on their motos, their little motorcycles, and that automatically is going, or walking too, and that automatically is going to, lengthen the time it takes you to get there. So if you're thinking about the fact that you have to do this while you're sick, while you're dealing with chronic disease, most people just don't. And then on top of the fact that, most people, depending on where they are, they don't recognize the importance, or that's not, no, I don't want to even say that. I want to say that when you're weighing it compared to other things that they have to think about, it's not as a higher priority, unfortunately.
Right.
Because there is just so much.
Right. Especially with chronic disease management, which is, because we already have that problem in America. Like, not everybody's really thinking about their blood pressure. Sometimes they're taking their medicine and they just want their refills, where I'm just like, but is your blood pressure controlled?
Right.
It's just that people are in survival mode. And so obviously the more convenience you can have when people are in that mode, the better. I don't know why I didn't have any pictures of my husband. So my husband is also a family doctor. So he's been there with me a couple times as well. And I did also want to mention that this is how my day goes. Like in the US, I do all of this all at the same time. So I'm doing GYN, I'm doing peds, and I'm doing internal medicine all in one day. But in Haiti, they kind of have it separate, so I have to kind of choose. I'm like, oh, this week I'm doing peds, this week I'm doing internal medicine. And at times when I've had residents with me, I've actually kind of precepted everybody. So they've been doing a lot of those different roles, and I've just been kind of helping them in those different roles. And I've also helped the I team as well with managing people's blood pressures. And it's really hard to think about at times. There's been times when we've done like admissions. Like the last time I was there with my husband, there was somebody who worked at the hospital who one of their loved ones was really sick. And we gave them IV fluids, not IV fluids, I'm sorry. We gave them the opposite of IV fluids, Lasix, to diurese them, pneumonia medication, oxygen, all that sort of thing, like acute hospital care. And so the concern you have is that they don't always have those tools. You know what I mean? They know what to do. There's doctors there year round who know what to do. But the issue is the logistics of it. You know what I mean? So because we were there and we had all of that things readily available, then you have to figure out like how to get it from Jacmel and this sort of thing when things are acutely happening. We were able to save, her life. This person who works at our hospital's loved one's life. And so it can be definitely life or death at times. But we would love to change that and have a lot more. And, like I said, work on the logistics issue that we have.
Absolutely. And that's, you know what? That can go right into our next slide, because this year you weren't able to go to Haiti, but you did something I think is even more commendable, is the fact that you initiated a telemedicine program pilot. And I just wanted to highlight that, because in Haiti, that is so revolutionary, in my opinion. Like that's why we call this the Renaissance, the healthcare Renaissance, because it's not only about, like you said, we want to make it so not everything is so urgent, so that way people understand what's going on. And sometimes they may not have to come that far distance. They may not have to go on their motor or drive. If we were to eliminate the barrier of transportation, what could healthcare look like? So tell me a little bit about that. Like, I have some pictures here if you want to give us a little overview on that.
Yeah. So so my residency still does global health. So now they currently go to Guatemala. So this was kind of an idea that, they were the ones who inspired me to work on this, because it was something that I had wanted to do for a long time, as far as trying to figure out how to organize the infrastructure of being able to deliver different types of services for chronic care and urgent care. And so during the pandemic, they weren't able to go to Guatemala, so they started doing telemedicine consults. And so I kind of took a combination of what I learned in Honduras and what they were doing in Guatemala and tried to figure out if we could do a chronic care telemedicine program with hypertension. Because in all of my years of Haiti, working in Haiti, that has been the number one thing that has always been very striking to me, is when you check a lot of people's blood pressures, they're like 200 over 100. And then, of course, we've seen people have consequences of that. We've seen people who work with our team have, heart attacks and die. We've seen people have strokes. We've seen people have heart attacks and live. So that's great. So, just being able to kind of help with the education piece of it, because the thing about the US is that a lot of people know that your blood pressure should be managed and you should go to the doctor. Whether they do that is a different thing, right? Whether they're busy and they don't have time to deal with it is one thing. But the issue is that we have, the American Heart Association, we have a lot of different technologies and commercials and all that sort of thing about, have you been to the doctor? Do you know your numbers? So we have all of this education campaign that people have been working on for decades and possibly centuries, to help people understand that they are humans and at some point their body will have problems and that they need to work on trying to prevent problems and catching them early if they can. And so with our telemedicine program, the biggest thing that I wanted to work with is trying to understand what are the barriers. So we first talked to Dr. Zafir, who was kind of finishing up his year doing civil service in the Hospital St. Joseph. And he told us about different barriers to delivering hypertension care. And so then actually so I didn't go to Haiti and I took a week off. So I had already blocked a week off in my schedule. And so I actually have a resident in our residency right now who is Haitian. And so her name is Gabrielle. I always say it wrong. I think it's Segues. It's Gabrielle Segues. So she was interested in going to Haiti with me. I was like, I don't know if we're going, but I arranged it with her and with our program director to be able to have her for a week. And so it was me, Dr. Angie, Gabrielle, and then one of our other members who I met in Haiti, Dr. Desir. So we all got together and created and talked to Dr. Zafir and basically created a curriculum based on what he told us were some knowledge gaps and what he needed help with, because that was one of the frustrations that he had. He was like, I'm trying to do this chronic care, but people don't even understand the importance of chronic care. They don't know what it is. And so Dr. Segues and Dr. Desir, so Dr. Segues, she is the one who made these posters. So she got on Canva and made a bunch of posters. And then Dr. Desir helped her to make sure that because she knows how to speak Creole, but she's never written Creole. So he helped her with the grammar. Dr. Nicole, she helped with the grammar as well, Dr. Michael. So we spent a week basically developing these education materials, and then we took them and put them in a booklet as well so that they could use them as just kind of the basis of a curriculum. And so one of the things I'm an associate professor, but I teach medical students. So I just basically use a lot of different experiences to be able to take the information in and regurgitate it in a way to be able to explain it back to patients at a basic level, and at just kind of trying to get the basics of what do you need to know to, when you have somebody as a captive audience, how do you use that time effectively, and how do you hit these main points in one session.
Gotcha. So you created that program. And what I love about this is, because I said this a lot in our first webinar too, with our organization, we're not we see what's happening here, so let's just bring that over to Haiti. No, we're doing this based off of the needs that is being told to us. Right. We're doing this in conjunction with the doctors, in conjunction with the nurses in Haiti, so that way they can have that extra support because they don't have it right now.
Right. And so speaking of that, so Dr. Nicole is working in Haiti right now. So she was the one who has been helping us on the ground. So shout out to Dr. Nicole. So she initially matched us with Dr. Zafir, who told us more of the needs. But then Dr. Zafir, he graduated and got a job in Jacmel, I believe. And so then Dr. Royal is currently the doctor who is pictured here, who has been doing the work. So he's a young physician. He's been helping us roll out the program and doing very well, collecting data. And we just got our first set of data, so it's been going really well. I saw so Dr. Nicole just emailed me or just texted me last night some of the data, but looking at the blood pressures, a lot of them did go from 180 down to 130s, which the goal is less than 140 over 90. So a lot of their blood pressures did come down with the education program. So that is the goal, because that's what we see a lot in America. They've done a lot of studies that show if you talk to people about stress management, if you talk to them about their diet, those can be just as effective as medicines. So of course the medicines are helpful, but the education piece is very important. So that's what we already know. And I'm sure that's what Dr. Zafir already knew, and that's what everybody knows, but just having the resources, like in the US, we have printers. You could just print off paperwork, which I'm sure nobody even reads because it's not necessarily written in a way for them to be able to, consume that information. And so that was kind of what we wanted to do, is if we had an opportunity to print out a handout, after somebody was going to leave, but also use a lot of pictures and use, very, very clear, not a lot of words, because those visit summaries have I don't know, 100 words. So most of our posters have 20 words or less. So that was kind of the goal, was to have it just be kind of a talking piece, but a conversation starter, because people respond more to conversations than they do a bunch of written words anyway. So, but yeah, so Dr. Royal, Dr. Zafir, and Dr. Nicole really helped us to get the education piece out. The next piece was more trying to have some consults for people whose blood pressures are still high. They've tried everything, they've tried medicines, or they're having side effects, that sort of thing, to be able to have consults for that, for helping with the medication piece. So that part was a lot harder to arrange. We were trying to get Dr. Desir to help us with that since he speaks Creole, but he had kind of a lot going on this summer and wasn't able to do that. So Dr. Angie actually was able to attend one of the sessions and provide some advice for Dr. Royal, who I said, is a young doctor and definitely will need some mentoring over the years. And so that is the next phase that we're trying to roll out. We need more people to help out with translation in Creole for Dr. Angie and I. And then also with people who are able to give consults for hypertension management. I've asked people about this, and I've had OBGYN and PM&R so far who's been interested in helping with interpreting, but I'm sure they could do some consults as well. I'm sure there are some different things that are going on as far as, especially physical medicine. There can be a lot of challenges with physical medicine, as people may have strokes and they may not have the same resources that we have as far as physical therapy and all that sort of stuff. So definitely excited about that, the next piece.
Right. And it's like if you read my notes, because that's exactly where I was leading, because I want to, first of all, just shout out to you guys for putting the resources out there, because obviously it's making an impact. The fact that the people are seeing their blood pressures being lowered, it's going to improve their quality of life. If not already, it will. And then not only that, but one thing I remember you saying, even when we were just talking about the pilot, is I really admired the fact that you were like, well, it's Haiti, people like teas, right? So what are some teas that we can do that can lower blood pressure? Because people have to recognize that it's a different culture over there, right? We're in a completely different nation, and they do things so differently. So it's not just, you just A, B, and C, and then that's it. No, there's usually A, B, C. There's there's whiny turns that you got to go through to get to the next level. So I just wanted to personally just shout you guys out, because I've seen the work you guys have been doing, and the fact that this was just the pilot. And that's another thing I want to just stress to everybody that's watching at home. This was just the very first steps of this, right? We definitely want to make this a bigger program. Like she said, we want to expand. We definitely want to allocate more time and resources to this program, because if we can really eliminate that barrier of just not knowing or not having the transportation, imagine imagine the effects that will happen not only for that person, but the community.
Right.
Because once that one person gets better, then that makes it so that way their families don't have to take care of them in the same capacity. You give them more of that self-sufficiency, that autonomy back that they deserve, that the people deserve to have.
Right. And it's just a level of importance too. I think one of the biggest things I do as a doctor is tell people that they're important. Like all day long. I'm just like, hey, you're important enough to take care of. And so I think that more than anything, just being there and trying to do anything that has to do with chronic care makes people pay attention and really think about themselves as somebody who's important, somebody whose life is worth preserving, So that's a very big weight that we carry as primary care doctors, because we know how much our words really mean to our patients. And so that's why it's been really great to have Dr. Royal be there to be that voice for us, because those private conversations that he's having, I'm sure, mean the most out of all of it,
Oh, for sure.
And then, of course, I didn't shout out the nurses. So nursing care, of course, is a big thing that is really helpful for us in the U.S. and the same in Haiti, because they are the people who generally have a lot more time to do a lot more education. And my goal, as we talk about like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3,
please
would be at some point to have a team of nurses who could go out into the community because that's what they did in Honduras. They had community health workers who would go out into the community and do education sessions in the community without doctors. And so we were able to go and see them when we visited, but being able to empower even the nurses to go out in different communities and possibly even do telemedicine, back to Dr. Royal. So there are so many possibilities as far as the renaissance of healthcare. The possibilities are endless when you're talking about trying to get infrastructure and technology to interface in that way. But that would be the next goal, would be to at some point that would be the the third goal, once we get the telemedicine piece of it organized better, to be able to have a team of nurses go out in different communities and have them be responsible for like a certain community. Especially because La Vallée is composed of 5 different neighborhoods. So it'd be great if we could have, like nurses who are in charge of each of those 5 neighborhoods.
And for those who don't know, we also we'll be talking about it more in the next webinar, in our final webinar, but we are so dedicated to this that we actually help nurses go to school. Like we pay tuition for students to get their education, get their nursing, and hopefully in the future even doctors too, right? Because it's not just what we're doing in the moment, it's also what we're contributing to for the long term. Like the nurses that we've already graduated, I believe like 13 nurses, and that opportunity for them to come back and work with us when we have these opportunities available, like it's not only are we advancing people's health, we're also advancing the communities as a whole, because now they have a job opportunity. We have that in itself, being able to create opportunities. This pilot created jobs and income for people who if it wasn't for this, they would have to find their means elsewhere. So
and they probably will leave. Because that's the biggest thing. I've been there. I mean, I've been going there for 10 years now. And so I've seen a lot of people who've left that neighborhood because they didn't have jobs and they had to go to Jacmel or another city, or even to the DR, or even to the US. So, our goal would be to all types of things, economic growth, and even because the biggest thing for me is, you start a lot of times with letting people know they're important enough to work on their health, right? And then once those people are seeing that, because that's how I got into healthcare. I have a whole family full of people who are in healthcare. And so then I saw it as something that could help people, help my community, and also pay my bills, so people will see it. That's what healthcare generally is. That's why it's one of the biggest industries in the US, because people who are interested in helping their community and their neighbors and all that sort of thing have better health, but also need, have a means to pay their bills and invest in their communities as well. It's definitely a win-win.
Absolutely. And that's why it's bigger than that's why we needed a webinar for it. Let's put it that way, right? Because it's not just, oh yeah, it's a pilot, or oh yeah, it's it's a mission that people go to once a year or 3 times a year. Obviously it varies, but it's more about what happens when the people leave. Like when me and Dr. Anisa are at home, what's going on in Haiti? Because we don't want to be that organization where it's like, hey, we're here, and then once we're leaving, that's it. You only hear from us when we're actually in town. That's not who we are as an organization. We are deeply committed and deeply intertwined with different NGOs in Haiti and different people that we trust and that we know are doing good work, and we have all the time that building of the relationship through time, I think, is what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, before we continue, if you guys have any questions, please, now is your time, because we want to still keep this pretty brief. But now would be your time to start typing in your questions. Really allow yourself to think of anything that you want to ask me or Dr. Anisa. Or we also have some amazing people that are watching too. So we also have Dr. Anika Michael. She's here from New York. And we also have Dr. Nicole, who she's the director that's on the ground in Haiti. So Dr. Nicole Rowe, I have to say it. Dr. Nicole Rowe, Anisa is the GOAT. She is awesome, Haitian in her heart, not born.
Yes, I've been adopted. I've been adopted by.
As you should. Listen.
No, that's the thing for me. That's one of the things I love about going to Haiti, is because people will tell you all types of things about Haiti that are not true. And so for me, it's been really great that I didn't listen to all of that and still went and found out for myself, because people were telling me different things, so it was just really great to get to know Haiti and know more about the people there. And to really find people who are interested in helping people, because it's been a really great family to join, because you're surrounded by people with really big hearts who are going outside of their normal jobs, spending their own money to go and help people in another country. So to be surrounded by people like that with big hearts is really amazing. And the only other thing I will say is, the only other person I haven't shouted out yet that I can remember right now is Dr. Emmering. So Dr. Emmering is our pharmacist. So she's the one. She used to work at Xavier, and she was the one who brought the pharmacy students that I was having a good time with. But she also really helped us with this telemedicine program as well, as far as getting together the protocols for Dr. Royal to, how to basically conduct the research, as far as the practical piece of it, of how often should we measure the blood pressures, how do we do the demographics. So just a lot of the data pieces, Dr. Emmering, that was her formats that we use. So I really
we gotta have her on the next one. Let me know in the chat if you guys want to hear from our pharmacist, Dr. Emmering, because she is amazing too, and she does a lot of good work. So if you haven't noticed, hopefully throughout, this is just our introduction, but hopefully next year we'll have a lot more of these with different people, so that way you can really understand what it is that we do and how you can be involved with it. Because like Dr. Anisa just said, like, there's so many different ways that you can contribute, right? Even down to the video that I played, that was actually created by one of our volunteers, Zoe. Thank you, Miss Zoe. And it just goes to show you, like, we are appreciative for anybody who's willing to donate their time, their money, their knowledge, their resources, whatever, to helping the Haitian people. That's our goal, and we hope that's yours too.
Yes.
We
have a question. We do have a question.
Wait, before we go to the questions, I wanted to just show this tab. Okay. The reason why is because while we're answering these questions, this is going to be available. All you have to do is scan the code, and you'll be able to make any donation, whether it's $1, $5. A $5 donation can actually help you cover a medical appointment. So no amount is too small. And not only that, every donation right now is being matched by a generous supporter. So this is your opportunity, if you haven't donated, to donate and double your impact. Okay, so let's go into the questions. We got some good ones. Okay. Can you talk about the possibility of adding mental health to telehealth?
Well, my husband It's family medicine and psychiatry. I didn't mention that piece. We're both double boarded, so I'm a geriatrician, and so it's what's hard about mental health. It's hard because you don't necessarily know the cultural pieces of it. Mental health is very cultural. You have to really understand when people say certain things, like even when I moved to Cincinnati, people would say things like they fell out, and you didn't know what that meant. Like I didn't know what that meant when I first moved here. It means they passed out. So there can be a lot of just nuance in mental health that can be kind of hard to do, especially in telemedicine. But that definitely is something that I can talk to Dr. Pulliam about, trying to figure out if there's a way that he could organize. Because the biggest thing about stuff like that, one of the biggest things that I found is be really helpful as a person who, is a physician and needs mental health, is just like group, support groups. So as a geriatrician, I see a lot of people who take care of patients with dementia. And so Alzheimer's Association in the US has, caregiver support groups, which people find really helpful. So just stuff like that could be really helpful, like, support groups for people who are new moms. And so people know that. That's what Facebook is really all about. It's about people finding different support groups for different things that they're going through. So those are probably have been, some of the most successful things that are helpful for mental health. But as far as like individual therapy, probably it would be trying to, like, I don't know if they have therapy in the US, I mean, in Haiti, like if they have like counseling schools. So, if we could figure out something like that to train people in counseling in their own culture where they really understand that, kind of context, that would be the goal.
Absolutely. And thank you for sharing that, because mental health is a very important, it's part of physical health, right? It's a very important thing that we do need to take time with. So I like that aspect of saying like, oh, it's something that we have to definitely look more into, so that way we can do it right. I think that's the important thing of it all. Especially like even for me, for those who don't know, like I said, I have that organization Affirm Your Abundance. And what I have been talking with my aunt about, who is focusing more on the educational portion, is trying to just give access to, positive affirmations, or just letting them know, even like what you just said, Dr. Shomo, letting them know that they're important, increasing that value of self. So that way, like I also mentioned, most of our people in Haiti are only 23 and a half years old. There's a lot of things that they're experiencing that is going to define the trajectory of their life, is what I'm trying to say. So I appreciate you asking that question, because it goes to show you that it's something that is needed and that we're on the right track, because it's going to be done. We just got to find the right way to do it.
And the other piece too is like, that's part of why I wanted to have chronic care management groups as well, because I feel like a lot of times as a family doctor, especially, doing internal medicine kind of things, a lot of people grieve getting older and their health. And so when you can have group chronic disease management, people can kind of talk about different things they struggle with. Like, oh, I got, high blood pressure and I'm not allowed to eat salt and it sucks, and so other people in the group could be like, yeah, it does. I tried this or I tried that. So the group chronic care management model has been helpful in that way, where it is kind of a support group as well.
Absolutely. And that's going to continue to be a really, really good resource for people, just to know that they're not alone in what they're experiencing. Okay, so the next question that we have, I forgot I could show these questions. Haha. Okay, so the next question is, what are the requirements for becoming a volunteer for this organization? Oh, that's a good question. So our volunteer requirements are very minimal. You just have to be a good person wanting to do good things for Haiti and hit us up. Truthfully, we do, whether you are, like I said, all 100% of donations do go directly to Haiti. So if you are someone who is interested in going on a mission trip, please know that is an expense that you would be able to have to contribute to yourself. With yourself. And that is also a tax deductible donation, because we are a 501c3. C3. my brain. Anyhow, it's early. So the point is that however you want to contribute as a volunteer, please do us a favor and send us an email. I will put an email in the chat. Our email is hello@AHDH.
And I guess the question is, do you have to be a medical professional? And the answer is no. So we have all types of people, who contribute in different ways. So we have like Francois, he's an engineer. He's the person who's helped us really organize this. So shout out to Francois. We haven't shouted him out yet.
Yes, the president of the organization. Yes.
So we have all types of people. We have engineers. We have people who specialize in marketing. We have people who specialize in finance, like Ricky Johnson. So we have all types of people who do all types of things in our organization. So if you are interested in volunteering, you do not have to be a medical professional. If you are a medical professional, we have jobs for that, but we have jobs for anybody who is interested in helping us organize or market or fundraise, whatever you feel passionate about, how you could help us. We definitely could use your help.
Absolutely. And I have the email there. It's hello@ahdhaiti.org. You could just send us an email and we will definitely get back to you ASAP. All right. So next, Kim.
I guess the question, she said, never mind. And then she went down to how often do you go on the trips that we do take? So I think the I team has been more consistent with that.
Mm-hmm. The I team goes for sure twice a year. I know our medical staff has been going, ideally they would go 3 times a year. And then with everything that's been going on, they've been going on a smaller capacity. Mm-hmm. So that way we could just make sure people are, still getting the treatment that they need and the follow-ups that they need. Mm-hmm. We just haven't done it on a big volunteer trip for the medical side.
Right. Because the medical side is that they do have medical professionals who work there. And so that was kind of the goal of this is like, they have medical professionals who work there year round. So how do we support them there versus bringing a bunch of people there, which is great. People can learn a lot. They can learn more about the organization. But it's kind of one of those things of like, as far as safety, is it necessary? You know what I mean? So I will go and say that I've been going to Haiti for 10 years, and AHDH is very good about prioritizing our safety. If they feel like it's unsafe, they will cancel the trips. Mm-hmm. So definitely that's not necessarily been what's been stopping me. What's been stopping me is often more your family just being worried about it. I've never been in a position where I felt like we went at a time that we shouldn't have gone. And they definitely do a lot to make sure that we're okay. As far as like, cause I've been there before and without the big group. And so they made sure somebody met me. They made sure somebody flew with me, with Angie and I. So I definitely know that AHDH takes care of us like we are family. They don't want to see anything happen to us. We definitely wouldn't go if it was unsafe. It's generally just more family concern. It's like, hey, I know that you're saying everything's fine, but I will be very worried if you leave and I don't want to have a heart attack. And you're like, okay, Dad, I know your heart's bad. So it's just an interesting phenomenon that is happening right now.
Yeah, and I haven't had the pleasure of going on a mission trip with AHDH yet, but I will say that when you go to Haiti, the way that we do it is very secure. I won't go too much into that right now. If you are interested, we can go speak about it privately. But it is very secure. It is a way so that way you don't even have to leave the airport. You go straight into Port-au-Prince, and then from there you fly to where our staff is and where our organizations are. So it's very safe, to be honest. And it's funny because Dr. Anika, she said last webinar, she was like, I'm from Brooklyn. It's safer than where I live.
Yeah, no, that's it's just one of those things. It's obviously we know it's a big concern that a lot of people have, but it's one of those things and that's what I'm saying. The media will tell you all types of stuff because Dr. Nicole goes back and forth between Haiti and Brooklyn in DC all the time. So we, like I said, we don't want to act like there's not things that happen, because there have been times, like right before, the president got assassinated, there was a trip that was supposed to happen, and there was like, they had a sense that something was going on and that we shouldn't go. And so they did not go at that time. So that's what I'm saying. We have people on the ground who will let us know, like, things are different.
Right.
So maybe not come this time. But
Exactly.
that doesn't happen that often.
Exactly. So that's pretty much, I think that's a good way for us to segue into, any other question that you guys have. I don't really see any in the chat, but definitely last call for any questions if you have any. I do want to just publicly thank Dr. Anisa. Thank you so much for everything that you do for our organization and for what you do for the Haitian people. Like, this is, when I tell you, when I first found out everything that this organization does, I was like, what? How is this not like everywhere? Like, how do more people not know about what we do and how to support us? So I'm very, very grateful for you for having for giving us your time, because I know that you got a flight that you got to go catch.
Thank you for having me, Tiffany. I'm so happy to be a part of our organization. And yes, we will be in touch if anybody is interested in helping us. Like I said, I'm working on organizing it, because we organized all of this year in a very short amount of time. So over the next year, I hope that next year this time we'll have even bigger things to report.
Absolutely. Oh, we have another question. Okay, so Dr. Nika said, how many patients have been participating so far in our pilot?
Oh, so I think so far we've had about 15 patients. So it was meant to be kind of a small group, so there would be different classes. So the first class we've had about 15, and so Dr. Nicole, who's working on the ground team, said that Dr. Royal feels like he's ready for the next class. So things are going really well, and like I said, people are telling their friends about it. So just really excited to have people excited about their health.
Absolutely. And so so thank you for that. And listen, 15 people is like we said, it's not just 15 people. It's 15 different like families that you're really creating a better lifestyle for. So listen, that was a great way to start, but we're definitely going to increase that number in the future for sure with your help. And also, I just want to just mention again that the donations, not only for today, but until November 30th. However, today is Giving Tuesday. So go ahead if you want to feel a little generous extra today. But we are having all of our donations matched. And also, just to mention, in case you have an organization, if you work at an organization that matches your donations, then we've had a couple of different donors who have donated, and then their organization has donated to match them, and those donations will also be matched. So this is your opportunity to, if you work in an organization like that, to have your donation tripled. So I just wanted to put that out there, because a lot of people don't know that can happen. And yeah, it's happening right now. So all you have to do is scan the code, and all you'll do is scan the code. It'll pop up. You'll be able to donate. And you can even send us a message. Let us know, what it is that made you want to support our organization. And we are very, very grateful for it. So thank you so much for your time. Also, you can also join our team and fundraise on your own behalf, like on our behalf. So keep a eye out for that. And that's it. I wanted to thank Dr. Shomo again for being with us today. I want to thank you so much for being here and giving us your time. And again, remember, it's Giving Tuesday today, but we are finishing our celebration next week. Actually, let me share this tab instead. Yep. So we are finishing up our this is next week, but it's actually Thursday. We're finishing up we're finishing everything up tomorrow on Thursday with our education expansion with Dr. Jermaine McCarthy. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email us or DM us, depending on how you're watching this, if you're on social or not. And we hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you, Tiffany. Bye.
Thank you.